Welcome into the Gridiron Now studios. I'm Amanda Borges here with Frank Frangie. The chaos of Florida, Georgia is over and done with, but there's a lot to discuss. Let's start with Florida. Frank, the Gators have all but clinched their trip to Atlanta. How did they get there?
Well, they did it with a lot of things. Jim McElwain has done a fantastic job with this team. He's changed the culture. He's changed the expectations. He's breathed confidence and swagger into that program, Amanda. But they got there with defense. All the talk about how great Callaway has been and McGee has emerged and they've overcome the loss of Will Greer. They have a defense for the ages, an all-world defense. I think they've got 5 defensive backs that are going in the top 2 rounds of the NFL draft whenever they're in the draft. I think those 2 linebackers, Morrison and Davis, are 2 of the best they've ever had there, and they play 10 different defensive linemen. The defense is not the most biggest or the most thick defense. They don't have a big 320-pound two-gapper or a big 250-pound linebacker to stuff the run. But it's as fast a defense as there is in the country. They rush to the ball. They have attitude. They have swagger. Florida held Georgia without a touchdown in that series for the first time since the 80s. They got there with great defense. That's the unit that doesn't get talked about enough at Florida.
Offensively, they're playing with backup quarterback Treon Harris. How do you think he's playing?
You know what? They're doing a great job. I think Treon is really limited. I've stood my ground on that. Treon Harris is a guy that can't sit in the pocket and find guys and throw guys open. He only completed 8 passes. Here's a stat you don't know. He only completed 1 pass from the pocket. 1, and it was a wide receiver screen to Antonio Callaway. They've got to move the pocket. They found a way to win with Treon. He's a good runner. He doesn't turn the ball over very often, did have the 1 fumble. I think Treon's playing about as well as he can play, but he's limited. The biggest challenge for Florida is, can they continue to win and move on with that many limitations in the passing game, because it's a very mediocre passing game for sure.
Frank, what surprised you the most about this win over Georgia?
The way they really won the line of scrimmage, Amanda. They really mashed them at the line of scrimmage. Last year, everyone thought it was a fluke when Florida ran for 400 yards and Georgia didn't run for much. And I did too. Well, guess what? This year, Florida ran for over 250 yards. Georgia ran for under 70. Sony Michel was no factor in the game. Kelvin Taylor had a big game again. Jordan Scarlett had a big game. Of all the things in this game, what surprised me the most is the way Florida really owned the line of scrimmage. I thought that would be a pretty even matchup. Both lines, I thought Florida's offensive line is just okay. Georgia's is just okay. Both defensive lines are very good. But Florida really mashed them at the line of scrimmage. That shocked me. It really did.
Frank, you brought up challenges before, so what would you say are the biggest challenges that the Gators face moving forward?
Here's what's interesting. They play Florida State in a few weeks, right? I don't think that game's a big concern for the Gators. They may lose because Florida State's very good, but they'll be ready to play that game. They tend to play well against Florida State. Be careful of that game a week from Saturday at South Carolina. South Carolina's not a great team, but it is a road game. It could be a little bit of a look-ahead game. You already will have clinched. I think they're going to beat Vanderbilt, so they already will have clinched that trip to Atlanta officially. That game's dangerous a little bit, and they've got to find a way to continue to win and overcome a bad passing game. I don't think, again, they completed 8 passes against Georgia. They don't have Will Greer. They don't have a drop-back passing game. They've got to continue to get Treon. Treon's a good passer out of the pocket. Okay, the biggest challenge, can they continue to win? Don't be asleep at the wheel against South Carolina, and can they continue to win with a very limited drop-back passing game? That's the challenge.
For more on the SEC, check out gridironnow.com. We'll see you next time.